Hi, welcome to Longshot Larry's Sports Astrology. Today we're looking at the Wimbledon 2022 tournament on the women's side. Iga Swatiek is the red hot favourite, hasn't lost for a long time, and trying to see if we can find a challenger. So these are the charts we're going to be looking at. We're going to be using some mundane techniques. There's the references if you're interested. So the first chart I'm going to look at is the partial solar eclipse from 30th April. Now the mundane theory would say you look at how that chart relates to the capital of a country, get an idea of the performance of that country. So this is the eclipse for 30th of April. Eclipse was at 10 degrees Taurus in 30 minutes. Widely conjunct Uranus, 4 degrees, probably a little bit far. It is sextile Mars. There is another pattern in this eclipse. Venus is conjunct Jupiter, nearly exact, and applying to a sextile to Pluto. So there's no planets on an angle for Warsaw. What else have we got? So if we line this eclipse up with the chart for Poland, you can see that Venus for Poland is on the MC, which is helpful. The eclipse is a little bit past a trine, 2 degrees, probably a little bit too far. Past a trine of the MC. Is applying once again to Mars, 3 degrees, probably a little bit far. It is applying to an opposition to Pluto. It is trine Neptune. But Venus on the MC is helpful. How about Swiatek? How does she line up? She has her Sun, Saturn widely conjunct the descendant, so it's going to be activated for the next 6 months or so. Venus and Jupiter are past a square to her Mars, but they are applying within 2 degrees to a square to her Mercury, which rules her Gemini Sun. I brought up the new moon just before the French Open because this is important. So this is once again set for Warsaw in Poland. You can see the new moon was at 9 Gemini and 3 minutes. Neptune was also conjunct the descendant. Let's see how this new moon lined up. If we line this new moon up at 9 Gemini 03, it's a very important shared degree area, what I call a team degree area between Poland and Swiatek. So it's conjunct the moon of Poland, which is the populace, and it's also conjunct her sun. So this was just prior to the French Open, and Swiatek ended up winning that quite easily. Now move on to the next chart here, which is the Cancer ingress, which is about a week before the tournament starts. How does that line up in Poland? So you can see this 10 degrees is on the MC. The other aspect on this chart is that Venus is just past an exact trine to Pluto, which I think is important. So let's line the charts up again. So if we look at this Cancer ingress, which should last about 3 months, we can see that the moon for Poland is on the MC, so it could be another tournament win here for Swiatek. This Venus trine Pluto lines up with the Mercury for Poland, nearly exact, and Mercury rules the Virgo Sun and Virgo MC. So that is another positive for Poland, and the Mars for Poland is conjunct the ascendant just past 2 degrees. So once again it looks okay for Poland. And for Iga Swatiek, her Sun is on the MC in Poland once again, so she's going to be the focus of attention. Last chart I'm going to look at from a mundane perspective is the new moon, which occurred 2 days into the tournament, or was about to occur on the 29th of June. See the new moon here is in Cancer, and it's exactly square Jupiter. Now if we line this up for Warsaw in Poland, the new moon is trine the MC, 2.5 degrees is pushing it a bit there. If we line up Poland with this chart, you can see that this new moon is exactly, or very closely opposite Saturn, and Jupiter is opposite Saturn, and it's square Venus. So I'm not sure whether this is a disappointment in Poland. It is also applying to a sextile of the MC, which is very helpful. It's quite an interesting pattern there for Poland. What about Swiatek? For her, this new moon, not a great deal going on there I can see. Now the question is, does this new moon outrank the Cancer ingress? This tends to last for about 4 weeks. I'm going to move on to the solar eclipse from 30th of April for Berlin, and it's quite interesting. So Mercury is on an angle, it's applying within 1 degree of the descendant. Now Mercury is neutral, so it depends what else it's doing. This Venus-Jupiter conjunction, once again, is very close to the IC, just over a degree. And that's sextile to Pluto, and Pluto is trine the MC. So there's strong possibility of success for Germany in the next 6 months. Now where's it going to be? So if we line up the chart for Germany, the German legal empire, the reason I'm using this chart is I've tested it in World Cups where Germany has won and lost, and it seems to work quite well. So Mercury is trine the Mars here of Germany, well that's helpful. The eclipse, however, is trine the Sun within 20 minutes of arc and past a sextile to the MC. Now this degree was important when Germany won the World Cup in 2014 in football. The eclipse was actually a couple of degrees earlier, about 8 degrees Taurus. So I'm just wondering whether this means another success for Germany. If we look at the chart of Kerber here, see this Venus-Jupiter is sextile her Capricorn Sun, and Pluto is applying to her Sun, so that's a very transformative aspect. It is, however, square her Saturn-Uranus conjunction. Now Saturn rules her Capricorn Sun, so which is stronger there? Probably say Pluto conjunct the Sun is stronger. Very interesting alignment for the next 6 months for Angelique Kerber. Moving on to the Cancer ingress, which is a week before the tournament starts, that Venus trine Pluto. There's nothing on an angle there. Berlin. Minimal contact with the German chart for the Cancer ingress. Look at Angelique Kerber, that Venus trine Pluto is aligning with her Sun, which is helpful. Here we have the new moon located in Berlin, which is happening 3 days into the tournament. It's exactly on the ascendant, and this is the main reason I've sort of been drawn to Germany for this. I've found if you've got a new moon on the ascendant, more so an eclipse, but it does bring focus to that place for the next 4 weeks. Very prominently placed in Berlin. If we look at the relation to the German chart, the new moon is applying to the MC within 2 degrees. Jupiter is opposing the ascendant. It's linked quite closely with the German chart. And how does it line up for Angelique Kerber? Well, the new moon square Jupiter. Jupiter is just past a trine to her Mars there. Still within a degree orbit, but it is separating. You can see her Venus is close to the MC, but her progress Sun within orb of a conjunction of Venus, which is on the MC, which I find interesting. The new moon is opposing Neptune. That's not very... So, looking at this tournament, you're going to see Mars here is 25 Aries. So Mars is going to start off, it's going to conjoin her progress Jupiter up here, the first week or so. Progress Jupiter's now moved into trine her Saturn. It's within orb, and Saturn rules her Capricorn Sun. So it's going to trine Saturn after that. It is going to square her Sun with Pluto on there, which could be a very difficult day. Then it's going to move on through the tournament, trine her progress Mars, trine Uranus, trine progress Saturn, which again rules her Sun. And on the last day, it's going to be sextile her progress Sun here. So I just find that interesting. Mars is providing a lot of energy in combination with that Pluto conjunct Sun. So I think she's going to have a good tournament. So looking at this in summary, Swiatek is the athlete to beat. Very short price favourite here, hasn't lost in 35 games or something. But I've been trying to find who is a challenger based on the stars. So I think looking at these mundane techniques, sort of points to Germany. I was going to go with Zverev, but he's not playing in this tournament. And I had a look at Kerber and I find that her alignments and the eclipses and everything happening in Germany and the new moon should make for an interesting tournament. I think Kerber is a genuine shot here. So thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, make a comment below. I'm always keen for feedback, and we'll see you before the final.